be back with it.
Thank you.
Yep, what's up? So, you want to learn how to create content? Well, you have come to the right episode of Ruck's Place, man. So, let's talk about the Friday drop. It's happening on a Saturday because Friday was Juneteenth, and yes, indeed, I observed Juneteenth. And I went out to this like dope restaurant called The Fixin' in LA Live, which is downtown LA. And I've been there before, but I didn't really experience it like I did on Juneteenth, right? Packed house. The music was so loud, pumping all the latest hip hop, K-pop, and some other genres. It was just pretty cool. It was a cool spot. So if you're in LA and you want to go check out one of the dopest soul food, I would call it, restaurant, go over to the Fixins. It's owned by Kenny Johnson, right? And Kenny Johnson used to be with the 76ers and played with Dr. J. If you guys remember Julius Erving. And he may have played with Charles Barkley. I'm not sure. But anyway, him and his wife have a pretty dope spot downtown LA. So go check it out, man. So listen, let's hop right into this episode. Doing a little camera adjustment with this DJI, which is pretty sweet, y'all, man. I got the DJI mics, right? I got the computer set up. I got my Razer mic. And you know, it's funny thing about Razer. I asked Razer for an affiliate relationship, right? Partnership, so to speak. And they denied me, man. Right? They said no to me. And I'm not a fan too much of their mics, but for the sake of, having it like do what it does, it is what it is. I use it along with, I got the blue mic as well. So I kind of like the sound of my blue mic a lot better, right? And the whole point of this, and why I'm explaining this, is about your content creation, right? And that is what this episode is about. So I'm helping you like I had to help myself. I had to figure these things out, how to make the best content I possibly can, right? And my pages and my all the platforms that I'm on now suddenly is getting the attention that I hadn't gotten in forever, right? I think about 500, I'm going on 467,000 views on YouTube in my total history. But week by week it's starting to grow, and I was like, man, the algorithm just don't like me, right? Or what's going on? You can't find my audience after all this time I've been posting content. I got almost like 840 videos on YouTube, long form plus the shorts. And I'm like, I still can't get that reach. I don't understand it, right? So I don't know, but well, it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Because who I need to reach and who I want to reach, I think I'm reaching. So let's get into it, right? It takes time. It's going to take you some time. It is what it is. You cannot get around it. You're just going to have to put in the work. And I just talked about, I'm using my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 to film this. I also got DJI mics. I got the mic set for the DJI where two mics come and the little receiver comes. You can just kind of plug it into your phone or plug it into the DJI, the Osmo. And your lighting, all of this stuff, you are eventually going to need. Now, some people will say, just start, right? Just start creating content. Start a podcast, especially if at some point you want to start a business. Or at some point you just want to create dope content. You're going to need to advance your technology. They'll tell you you don't need Nothing but your iPhone, nothing but a cell phone. You don't need a microphone. You don't need any of that. You just got to get started. That's a fact. You do just have to get started because all of the equipment that you would buy will mean nothing, right? And the key here, guys, for me, what I've learned and the problems that I've had with just creating content and connecting to the right audience who will actually give me some feedback, who would actually make a comment, who would actually like a video or two, it just takes time. And let me tell you what my issue was finding the right me to be able to present whatever it is that I wanted to talk about to you. And yeah, I said that finding the right me. You got to find the right you, right? Because the everyday you is not the one that's in front of a camera. Obviously, it's not the everyday you. Just turn on your camera and start your day from the time you wake up until the time you get back or in the bed and everywhere you go in between, and then turn off the camera so you can catch some Z's. It's not normal to be in front of a camera. And that's why so many people aren't. And the people that are may be so bad at it because this is not normal, right? And so you have to realize that and accept that. I had to accept that this is not a normal daily kind of living. I had to get cameras set up in corners in order for me to get comfortable. Then I had to figure out what I wanted to look like on camera because they say your fit matters, right? And it kind of does and then kind of don't. And how do you know if you had the right fit if no one asks you, right? No one says, yo, that was a dope hat or there's a dope shirt that you had on. What shirt was that? Where did you get that from? Where can I get that, right? Where can I buy your merch? That's the only way you know with feedback. And if you're not, or if you can't find an authentic you that you can present in front of the camera that is the closest thing to the person you are when you're not being recorded, right? That person that when you go out in the public or you go out to see friends or you go to hang out with family or you're in class or you're on the job, that relatable you, that's the one that you figure out how to bring to the camera. It's not as easy as so many people will tell you. And then on the flip side of it, it's not as hard as so many people will tell you as well. Once you get comfortable doing this, and that is through practice, through repetition, like everything, you got to repeat these actions over and over and over again in order to find the true you, right? How do I clip on this mic the right way? Matters. How do I set this light the right way? Matters. At some point, if you're on camera like me all the time, then people will expect an advancement in what you do with everything. If you keep showing up anywhere, you have to learn the lay of the land. Just by showing up sometimes, eventually you start getting the who's who. You know what's what. You know how things flow. And that's basically how content, most successful content, kind of flows, right? And if you do it enough, then people will start to get to notice you. But there's so many layers I had to peel back just for myself, right? Am I too dark? Is my voice right? People will comment on my voice all the time, like, man, you got a radio voice. You sound like a DJ already, like a radio disc jockey, right? Or I love your voice, man. That voice I used to get, that signature voice. Are you making that voice up? And I'm like, bro, this is just me, right? But then I was like, am I making this voice up? Or, am I really bringing my most closest to who I am off camera on camera? And eventually, yes, it happened. Eventually, whatever it is that I'm doing, I just am who I am, right? If I'm in, many of you already know I'm in real estate. If I'm in an open house showing like a beautiful mansion, At first, I didn't want to put the camera on me. I was like, it's just about the house, right? Or I put the camera on me too much, and people were like, damn, I can't even see the house because all I'm looking at is you, right? But then some people were saying, wow, keep creating this kind of content because I've never seen mansions so beautiful, right? So please keep doing this. And then other people would kind of like no comments, no interactions. And, the algorithms like your content when people are engaging. And if people are not engaging, then, you don't get the kind of views, your content doesn't get pushed out because no audience is connecting to you. Now, you could have some of the dopest videos. I know for a fact I've had some of like the dopest videos, man. I'm like, damn, that was a $75 million house I just kind of walked through, right? And it was beautiful from every single corner. And what do you mean when I post something like that, nobody watches? And then somebody told me, boring, right? And I was like, wow, everybody's not into that, right? So anyway, you have to figure out what your audience wants from you. And how do you do that? You have to ask them. Hey, guys, comment. Did you like this? Did you like that? Right? And they will tell you eventually what they want to see from you. I do cars a lot. Ferrari Spotted. The other day I was in Beverly Hills, and I'm telling you guys, there was like this car club, car show kind of event going on where I just caught almost every luxury car. I made a video, a post about it, a short about it. I mean, from your Paganis to your Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, the what's that one car? Bugattis, right? The Porsches. It was insane, and it was like thousands of these guys. Like they took up the entire Sunset Boulevard, right around the spot where Michael Jackson used to live. And I was like, damn, what did I run into? And I followed these guys and went out to where they were just going to hang out. LA, we got some of the dopest cars in the world here. And they're out and about in these cars on a regular basis, which is funny, which brings me to a memory that I had some company in from Ohio. One of my best friends from childhood. We still rock almost, I won't even tell you how many years later. He and his wife came out also in real estate. She is. And they were like, we see some of these dope cars out here, as they came over to see me at my house. And we got together, went out and had some fun. They would say to me that you can't drive these kind of cars in their neighborhoods. In Detroit, where I'm from, and certain places in Ohio, you can't, because people will follow you home in these cars, and you might not make it. Not like LA, it's like every other person has something exotic, right? Even if it's just a dope BMW or cool Mercedes Benz, it's just the norm here. It's almost like the who's who. You see some people driving like the Kulinen, and they driving up to an apartment building, right? Because the car matters, right? Out here, it's a statement that you make that I might live in an apartment, but I can afford that kind of car too. $300,000 car, and you're paying $1,500 a month on an apartment. Priorities. Some people got their priorities mixed up. But anyway, all that to say that content takes time to build. It's like a job. It becomes a job, so to speak. And if you're getting paid to create content like so many people are, it becomes a job. But you want to get that practice in before somebody actually hires you to promote, say, a product or a brand, a company, a service, right? You want to be able to have had some hiccups. You want to be able to have had some fails. You want to feel all the emotions that this if you're going to plan your life around your content creation, then I'm telling you, it's just like any entrepreneurial endeavor. You're going to feel some pain. You're going to find some obstacles. Things are not going to work out sometimes for you. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt, man. I know it. I know it firsthand because it hurt, and how I was able to solve my problems of not being able to produce the best possible pieces of content just for myself when I was just creating for myself. I just had to go through it. You just really have to go through it. There's no way around it. And you're going to pay the cost to be the boss. Just like I say with anything. Someone asked me just today, how can I get into California real estate? Because I want to sell multi-million-dollar homes too. And I'm like, you got to pay. If you want to make $1 million, if you want to mess around with $1 million players, you got to understand that those people have probably paid the price 1,000,000 times over in order to make the $1 million that they make. Those people were probably had to do or run into so many $1 million players just to establish credibility in order to be a representative, to represent somebody on a buy and sale of multi-million-dollar properties, right? You could have all of the courage, all of the confidence that any man or woman could possibly have, right? You could have the skill set. But if you're an unfamiliar face in something that people are wildly successful in, you're going to have to establish a presence. However you do that, you got to establish a presence. Right here on social media on these social media platforms, you got to establish a presence, right? And sometimes I used to say, why is it that these guys or these girls over here, they could just say anything, right? The content, you're just wondering where the hell did they even come up with that, right? Like somebody said about mine, right? Where the hell does he even come? You just made that shit up, Chuck, right? And I never just make things up. I actually experience everything. I'm that type, man. I'm that outdoor guy. I gotta get out there. I gotta feel it, man. I gotta smell it. I gotta touch it. And then I'll come and talk about it, right? But at the same time, you kind of wonder, like, what are they even talking about? But why do they have such a connection and so many views and so many subscribers, right? And the truth is, they've been through the fire. They paid the cost. They just did. And even if you did say this viral thing, all about viral, you want to go viral. There are reasons why you want to go viral, especially if you're selling merch, if you're promoting a service, if you're trying to get your phone to ring, right? You definitely need to go viral, because sales and making money, especially on these type of platforms, you cannot expect to have a consistent flowing income to provide for your life. Audiences change, people love you today, hate you tomorrow, right? And then come back and love you the day after that, right? That's how the circles where people who have a lot of money, that's how those circles flow. They love you today, they can't stand you tomorrow. Then they love you the next day, and you just have to learn the language of how people communicate. That is, boom, stick a pin in that. You have to learn the language of how your audience wants to be communicated to. And if you could do that, if you could hold their attention just for the little bit of time that people have, because people in the scroll are like 7 seconds. Flick, you're out of there, right? But if you got them for 7 seconds, it does count for something, right? Because it could add to your viral. But viral is not the goal. People have all kinds of ideas about how you are to be in your social media, right? How your presence is supposed to be, and how many times a day you're supposed to be posting. To be honest, if you're bringing a value to your platforms, if you're bringing a value to your microphones, to your camera, and you're sharing that value, eventually people connect. But again, you'll hear some people say, well, you don't need 1 million people to follow you or to view you or to subscribe. And it's like, yes, you do. You would like that, because that really speaks to the success of what you're doing. You're connecting, right? But that's not the goal, right? And some people say, well, you only need 10 people. But really, if you want to make an income, consistent income, create a community, and only have 10 people in your community, right? And those 10 people will sustain you. And it's like, yeah, for a minute, right? How many, you could sell them a course, you could sell them merch, you could sell them a subscription into your community. And it's like, all of those things may be true for a stint of time, very short period of time. Even if people like mine, some people are in my community, they never even go through the emails, because I have a community that once you sign up, it'll send you an email letting you know that Chuck has made a video, or Chuck is going to be over here, or that's my way of getting in touch with you. A lot of people don't even open those emails up, right? But it does give you a presence, because you go through your emails and you see Ruck's Place community. All right, cool. Whether I posted something that is of interest to you or not, I'm present in your emails, right? So I'm not going to be completely forgotten. So it's important to start a community, but not to bank on, all right, I didn't need 1 million followers. All I needed was 10 good people. How long am I, and how many of your merchandise, your shirts or your hats, or even watching your episodes am I really going to do, right? Maybe I'll watch a few. And maybe if you were talking about something interesting after some time has passed, I'll tap into you. But you're not going to sit there and expect me to pay your bills, right? I got my own bills. Even if you bring in the dopest content, I'm not listening to Kanye every day, or Drake, or whomever else every single day. I'm just not. And that's content. Music is content, right? But at some point I might pop them on, right? Maybe I'm just need to have that voice in my head as I'm going through something, a memory. Maybe I'm in a down moment. That's what it is. You could tune into me when you're having a down moment. You can tune into me when you feel like, wait, maybe he's saying something today that is valuable to me, right? But you can't expect that somebody's going to watch you every day. Somebody's going to follow you every single day. Somebody's going to tune into your content every single day. So you don't do it specifically for 1 or 2 people. You do it because you eventually love it. And then you do it because eventually it becomes something like habit, right? You're just like, damn, I need to post today. Wow, I found something exciting. Like when I first came here, I said to you guys, I went to this dope restaurant. I even told you where to go, right? They don't pay me to do that. I have no affiliation or a sponsorship or anything with the Fixin' Restaurant in LA Live. But I liked it so much that I thought, let me come and at least drop a video about it, so whoever catches my video may just so happen, coincidence, be in LA and be like, I think I heard Chuck Rucker talk about a restaurant, and let me go back and check his video, right? And then boom, now you know what I was talking about. There's a record, and that's part of what content creation is about as well. You're creating a record for people, right? And for yourself, right? They say create a podcast like I just talked about for legacy, which is pretty cool. If you have a business, create a podcast, because then people could come and check out your content to see if they would even want to do anything with you. Even if they want to give you their time, they get to, at least they know where to find you, because what? You have a presence. You only get a presence because of what? You keep showing up repeatedly. You're going to do something consistently, which eventually becomes habit. And that habit may lead to an income, right?